The new limited edition S1 batons, let's check them out. Light is your #1 security tool. I always say that before we get into a flashlight review because you use a flashlight more than any other thing for security. Light is important, but light is also important for everyday tasks, and it's something that I always carry in my pocket over and above things that most people carry. I do carry a good knife, and I carry a good flashlight, of course my phone, billfold, keys, things like that. So one of the things though that I want to show you today is the Olight S1 Baton. And I've done a full review on the original S1 Baton. It is one of the brightest lights for its size package. In fact, it's one of the brightest ever for a side little switch. And here I've got it on the lowest setting. We're just going to go ahead and bump it up to 500 lumens. I mean, this is a fantastic light, and it's a really small package. And when I say small, we're talking about 2 3/4 inches in length. Now, it's not the thinnest, it's not the smallest light. There are a lot of little pin lights and things like that. But to me, for a security light, this is the smallest that I feel comfortable with. It's really bright, it's really small, but yet it's got enough to grab hold of. So this, to me, is one of the best little EDC lights out there. And I've been carrying this one for a good while. Now, it did replace the S10 Baton, which as you can see is a little bit larger. But the S10 Baton only has 400 lumens. The technology has really just completely increased, which it just typically does. And that's one of the cool things about a lot of the small lights, and Olight in particular. They are constantly coming out with new innovative designs. And so we're going to take a look. Now, if you want to see a full review on the S1, I'm going to have the link right here, and you can just go to it, check out all the details. We will be going through a lot of the details, but as far as the full review of this light itself, that we're going to look at it that way. But what we're really going to talk about today is the additions, the special limited editions that Olight is introducing. And these are available at Going Gear. Some of the things, though, that they've come out with, which I think is really cool. It's one of the things about EDC. It's become really popular to really perfect your EDC and what preferences you like. And that includes style. Here we have a little titanium version, which is really nice. Again, 500 lumens. It does have kind of a rose gold accent to it. Very beautiful little light. Very lightweight. And then we go into a solid brass version. Now this, to me, is just really a classic. It goes away a little bit more from the aluminum, which the black is a hard anodized aluminum, aircraft grade aluminum, to a brass. And this is machined. It's a beautiful piece. And again, it has the same kind of output that the aluminum version has. In fact, if you start out, of course, 500 lumens, and then we can go down to 8 lumens, and if we hold it, we'll go to 80 lumens, and then hold it again, and we go to 500. And then if you want a moonlight setting, let's say you're in a dark room, and you just want to get a little light without, blinding yourself, just hold down on the button, and you get a half of a lumen. And really in the dark, that really shines really well. I mean, you can see what you're doing. So there's a lot of capabilities for such a small little tiny light system. And then, of course, we have the copper, which is actually my personal favorite. I mean, this is just beautiful. The color, it is a little more weighty. The brass and the copper are a little heavier. In fact, these weigh 3 ounces apiece, whereas your standard Olight S1 is 1.7 ounces, and then the titanium is actually 2 ounces. It weighs just a little bit more than the aluminum, but the weight on these gives it a little more heft, and to me, a lot of style. I mean, these things are beautiful. Now you see that it has the stainless bezel, stainless pocket clip. You can get these in the blue, just like with the black, and there's some other styles, and you can go to the Going Gear website and check out all the different little features. But again, these are limited edition. In fact, these, I think there are only 500 of these that are being made, and so you might want to get on Going Gear if you are interested and go ahead and purchase one of these lights. Now, Marshall sent these to show the review and to show the different colors, but there are other additions that go to this. Now let's say that I have it on one of the lower settings, and this is actually the 8 lumen setting, but I really need turbo and I need it as soon as I get my light out. Then I just double click, and now I have the full turbo setting. It will go for 1.5 minutes on the turbo setting, and then it'll power down about 50% just to save your battery. And plus, lights, the LED lights get really hot. Speaking of LED, this is one of the XML L2 Cree LEDs. But what's really kind of unique about this light is the lens itself is a TIR lens. It's a special lens that actually allows 90% light transmission. So not only is this light going to give you really good light output, but the distance, the beam distance on this is rated for 104 meters. So you're going to get a really long range. I mean, this acts like a full-size tactical type light. And yet it's a really small package. You can keep it in your pocket, and it really just, it's really unnoticeable. Now, one of the things they've done is they've recessed the button on the side, and what that does, it keeps it from coming on inadvertently, which they can. In fact, the earlier versions had a problem with coming on in your pocket. But with this recess, I don't have any problems at all with it coming on, unless I really have to bump it. A lot of people will take the clip and put it over it as well, just to protect it. The lights use one CR123 battery. You can use the standard CR123s, which will give you the maximum light output, or you can go with the rechargeable CR123 or the R CR123. In fact, there are some bundles on the Going Gear website that include a charger. Now, a lot of you guys, and myself included, I was really concerned about the copper and the brass being really expensive. And so when I went to the Going Gear website, the standard S1 runs $49.95, which is really a great little price. I mean, for a top quality light like this. You go with the brass or the copper, and they just run $64.95, which I thought was a really good price. It's only a $15 difference for really high grade material. And then we go with the titanium, which is a little more expensive. It's $79.95. And of course, that has to do everything with the material itself. But, it gives you a lot of choices going with just your $50 light. This will give you all the same features of these lights. This is just, as Nothing Fancy would say, the cool factor. And brother, these things are cool. I mean, they are just beautiful. One of the things about the copper version itself is that it will start to age. And it's going to start to tarnish a little bit, and then as you use it, it's going to have high points, and to me, that's just going to really look nice. I've kept this one kind of enclosed to make sure that it didn't before the review. And then maybe later on, of course, on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. A lot of times I'll post pictures. In fact, I've been posting pictures on these lights already. But then you'll get to see how it kind of, with age, starts to turn. These lights are IPX8. That means that they're shockproof and they're waterproof, up to 2 meters in water. And we've done a lot of testing with these, and they do. All the Olights hold up very well. No surprises here. This light always works in the water test. Again, there are a number of different lights in the S series. This is the S1, and of course we've seen the S10. There's the S20, which is a little bit longer, the S30, and just different ones. In fact, they have a number of these lights, not the S1s yet, that are rechargeable and have a little base, and you can just set it on the base and it will recharge, which I really like. But for carrying these every day, again, since you can put a rechargeable battery in here, you can charge those out. One really cool feature about the S1 is that it just has a magnetic tip at the bottom. The magnetic cap holds your light right here, and then if you need to work on something, you can just cut it on. Now, if you have a medical condition or an aversion to strobe, we're going to show the strobe setting. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you a warning ahead of time. To go to strobe, have the light on, and then just triple click. And then you go right into strobe. It will stay on strobe for 3 hours. Now, on the 8 lumen setting, it will go for 40 hours. You can go up to your 80 lumens, and it will go for 6 hours. And then turbo, 90 minutes. On your moonlight setting, which is 0.5 lumens, it will go for 25 days. Also, once you get to the setting you want, leave it on for about 3 seconds, cut it off, and it does have a memory. It will return to that setting. There is no lockout feature on these lights, but you can just turn the tail cap about 1/4 of a turn, and you'll have your lockout. To go through the mode settings, you can just hold your button down, and it will go through the different settings. Get it on the setting you want, leave it for about 3 seconds, cut it off, and you're good to go. They come in a really nice box, and in that box you have a lanyard which has a little needle to be able to thread it through your port, and then they have a traffic wand. This is really great because it really allows for diffused light. And this way, if you're in an emergency situation, you can just hold this up and it contains the light into one place. And this is a really great light for signaling. And then as you'll notice, it has a glow-in-the-dark feature if the light's used, and then it'll continue to kind of glow even after the light's cut off. Now, to give you an idea, you can see the reflectors going up. Those reflectors are at about 125 yards all the way out. And I can see them all the way to the top of the hill. This is with the 500 lumens. We're going to drop it down to the 8 lumens, and as you can see, just pretty much my hand, I'm going to bring it down here on the drive. You can see the light, and really the camera's only picking up this spot. I mean, there's definitely some flooding around it. We're going up to the 80 lumens. Again, you're seeing the reflectors, not quite as bright. 500 lumens, oh yeah. It's going to give you the same features as a lot of large lights, and yet it's a small EDC light that's really easy to keep in your pocket. So check out goinggear.com and you can find all these lights. Remember guys that these are limited edition and they are selling fast. In fact, these are some of the fastest selling flashlights that Going Gear has at this time. You do get a 10% discount using Such in the coupon code Such00 when you check out. And that includes the limited edition lights. In fact, I confirmed it with Marshall because I thought maybe it would only go for the S1, but it does include these as well. Any orders over $49 get free shipping. So just a great source. The guys at Going Gear are friendly. The customer service is great. And they're down in Smyrna, Georgia. If you're ever in the Atlanta area, it's a great store to go by. They have a wall of flashlights that's just fantastic. So I want to say for the S1, no matter which model you choose, a big thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Sign on my building, there you go, ample warning. There is nothing here worth your life. Excuse me, but wrong vehicle to carjack. There's my number 2 security tool, right there. He gives me good warning, enough time to do what I gotta do. But guys, his bark is a lot less than his bite.